We do have a new Secretary of the Interior. Did you see that?
All right, I have a question, though.
Sure.
Is it a woman?
Yes.
Thank God.
But not just a woman, a Native American woman.
A former congresswoman from New Mexico called Deb Haaland is Joe Biden's incoming Secretary of the Interior. And that's not a small job. Make fun of it if you will. But the Interior Department manages about a fifth of the entire surface area of the United States. It's got 70,000 employees and an enormous budget. So it's a lot of power to run it. What does Deb Haaland plan to do with all this new power? Well, no one's asked her. They're too busy celebrating what she looks like.
Congresswoman Deb Haaland appearing before senators for her confirmation hearing today. She would make history as the first Native American cabinet secretary if she is confirmed.
She would be the first Native American cabinet secretary if confirmed.
Wow. She is a historic pick in this respect.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Remember when they used to go like, so-and-so is going to be named Secretary of Defense.
That's it.
He comes to us after 25 years in the Navy, where he served on the USS, cocksucker, and, fought in 3 foreign wars and won this Bronze Star for his heroic blah, blah, blah. Remember you used to do that? And then they go, Then he went off to officer school and did this and that. No, nowadays it's like, oh, my God, she's huh? How cool. And you're like, so that was no other, because I wouldn't even care if you were like, hey, diversity is good. We got, it's cool to see some women in, well, I don't think so. It's cool to see some women in the White House or Native American or whatever. Fine. But could you at least add a couple of qualifications like, hey, she's first Native American ever. That's kind of cool. Also, she went to this school, and in her last job in the government, she oversaw this, and you could go, oh, okay. But everything is just, that's a woman. Can't attack a woman, bro.
Is going to be the first Native American to serve in this role. The Interior Department, of course, governs public lands, tribal lands, and so this is going to be a very exciting pick for many Democrats.
We couldn't make her Secretary of Fireworks.
No, we couldn't. Or alcoholism.
It's very exciting that Deb Haaland is a Native American. That's CNN's position. They don't explain why it's exciting, but it's a good question. Why is it exciting? None of us choose how we were born. It's nothing that we did or that we earned. So it seems a little weird to be, quote, excited about an accident of birth. How excited would CNN be if Deb Haaland were unusually tall or had red hair or was born left-handed? The good news for Deb Haaland is, since she was born the way that she was, no one is allowed to criticize her, as MSNBC has explained.
You're not.
Well, they're desperate to launch a counterattack against the Democratic president. At this point, attacking any old thing will do, but...
Because you guys never attacked the Republican president. You guys were distinguished, and you guys...
Forget the Republican president. They're supposed to attack him. They literally attack, like, roofers and, like, guys who do sheetrock and people. Like, they dox teenagers, and they... You know what I mean? Like, it's beyond just, hey, we don't like this president. It's like, hey, this kid, 17-year-old... Let's get him kicked out of his high school because he made a meme. Like, they take it to such a nasty level.
We're also talking about Republicans here. So the go-to is the same go-to as usual. Pick out the women and the people of color and just go off.
That's what they do.
That's exactly what they do.
They do.
You're right. You're right. You guys don't pick on white people for farting in the wrong direction. You guys are literally going after cartoons right now. You're going after cartoons, and you're talking about questioning someone who's going to be in the Department of Interior. I mean, there's a difference here, guys.
It's been my observation, given the last 4 to 5 years of anti-white sentiment and people getting shit on just for being white men, that if there's anything I've learned, is that white people are infinitely patient and graceful. I don't even know how we still live in this reality where the news is like, and these white people are going around just killing everybody. And meanwhile, you're like, I don't see it. I don't see that. I just see you guys spurging about white people all day and making charts and making entire books about gay, like the spectrum of whiteness. And like literally it's now a cottage industry of just hating white people. And I haven't seen any other than a couple of dopey assholes rushing a guardrail and going into the Capitol building. I haven't seen much. Although they did brutally murder that poor Capitol police officer with a fire extinguisher.
Didn't happen.
You don't. They did so, dude. I saw Baked Alaska, Nick Fuentes, and Vincent James took turns wailing on that poor cop with a extinguisher until he was dead. I personally think it's a hate crime.
This is we're gonna finish this video, but this is just breaking news. The Biden administration has added a new department that's never been added before to his cabinet. It's the Department of Offensive Cartoons. And this is the guy that was going to be taking the lead.
Not Judge Doom.
It's Judge Doom.
We can't. Come on.
It's Judge Doom.
He literally murders Toons.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. You can't criticize him, though.
Do you remember what he did to that poor shoe?
Yeah, he did. Oh, God, didn't you feel bad for that shoe?
I felt very bad.
That poor shoe was so cute.
That was brutal. That was such a brutal scene. I'm like, oh.
This is a kid's movie? Yeah. So, yes, that will be the person that will be heading that up. So, let's see here. Back to Joy Reid.
And so, several Republicans have decided to target Biden's cabinet nominees of color, like Deb Haaland.
So that's who Deb Haaland is. She's a person of color. The most important thing about Deb Haaland is her ethnicity. That's the unanimous message from our professional class. But since we're playing identity politics here, which obviously is disgusting, we wish we weren't. Identity politics is stupid and immoral. But since we are, it's fair to ask a few more questions. Deb Haaland identifies as a Native American. On the other hand, Haaland sounds very much like a Scandinavian name, and that stuck out to some of us who have Scandinavian names. So what's going on here? Well, in fact, Deb Haaland is every bit as much Scandinavian as she is American Indian. Her father was Norwegian.
When my ancestors came here and brought slave ships to America to transport your slaves, we thought we were buying into the system.
And that means, in addition to everything else, Deb Haaland is America's first Norwegian-American Interior Secretary since Thomas Kleppe served in the Ford administration almost 50 years ago.
You're such an asshole, Tucker. You really are a fucking nerd, and I love you. You know what Tucker reminds me of? Like, he makes me think of, like, what Dennis Miller could have been if he was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Good point.
He's like a funny Dennis Miller.
In their quiet, brooding way, the Scandinavian...
That's like former Secretary of Interior Thomas Kleppe, babe.
Who knows that? Who knows that reference?
To go. In their quiet, brooding way, the Scandinavian community, we can tell you, is beaming with pride. Finally, one of ours has made it.
One of ours?
Little girls with names like Larson and Hansen and Dahl will watch cabinet meetings on C-SPAN and know that they, too, have a chance to oversee 1/5 of the American landmass someday. When Deb Haaland speaks, she'll be speaking for millions of Norwegian Americans, people whose ancestors have been here in the Americas for more than 1,000 years. Their voices can now be heard. Deb Haaland, hero to the Nordic people.
When my people came here on wooden boats with horned helmets...
I mean, at least change your name like de Blasio.
Is she our guy? She's Nordic. Is she our gal?
I mean, I do love the fact that, like, these people of color in these leadership positions are all just white people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, of course.
Black Lives Matter is run entirely by Jewish people. Like, these cabinet positions, everyone's like, I'm an Indian black woman. And you're like, she's like 60% white. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you only have to be, well, at least in the tribe. I can't speak for all the tribes, but to get the casino money here, you only have to be 1/5, I believe.
Get that Seminole money.
1/5, yeah.
I want to fucking. I want to. Can Todd Howard when you remake Skyrim again, which you will? Can you make the Greybeards all Native Americans? You go to see them and they all have turquoise jewelry on.
Native Americans.
You are the Dragonborn. You must fight the dragon.
Come on.
By using this.
And you're like, oh, do you teach me dragon shouts?
No, we have carved you these special arrowheads.
You're like, that's it?
It's great.
And a turquoise ring.
Oh, is it magic, though, right? I get to... Gives me powers?
No, we sell them at rest areas and truck stops.
Are they at least dragon bone arrows?
No, but the money goes to the tribe.
Oh, that's great. You know, Native Americans don't have to pay. This is true. Don't have to pay sales tax. For real. If you're like 1/5, so if you go to a restaurant, like I'm Native American in Florida, because we have a lot of them here. In Florida, if you're Native American and you go to a restaurant, you show them you're Native American, and they have to take the sales tax off of your bill.
I'm doing that from now on.
But you need an actual card that shows that you are.
Or what if I just start doing an annoying rain dance in front of a full restaurant until they go, Art, could you just, it's 8%, just give it to them.
They'll give you the Maggiano's treatment. They'll stick you in the Native American section.
Just sitting there with a stick in my hand. Hey, and they're like, just can you give it to him, man? We got a fucking 30 top coming in of black people that we got to put in the back.
Where they belong, as Maggiano's, I believe, was quoted as saying.
Sir, this is a Wawa, okay? And there's a line around the block right now. Can I get a manager, please, to register to? While there's a bunch of Mexican roofers standing
Just
behind
waiting.
me like this cocksucker, man.
And they're definitely more native than anything else. They have Aztec blood in them, and they have to fucking sit there.
And they're like, just it's 8%, dude. Just give it to him. Get him the fuck out of here.